Welcome to the first HPSF Conference. I'm super excited that we're all here, that you are all here, and I hope that you have like 10% of the excitement about this than what I do. We are about 1 year, pretty much exactly 1 year since we launched HPSF at ISC. Back there we had also a pretty good crowd in our BOF, and I hope that that was a good sign, and lots of people showed up here, so maybe that was true. We had lots of stuff happening in the last year. It was, a lot of work for us getting all this started and getting this running and actually, make HPSF mean something. This was all the companies and organizations which were starting this and which were on our list back at ISC. And we've grown quite a bit, and you hear a bit more about that later. We also have grown with more projects, and things are happening. And I hope that this conference will show you that things are happening, and it's exciting. So hopefully what you're here for is, you want to learn from us, right? From the community, from all of us, from yourself, right? I hope you're here to make connections. HPSF is meant to be a community, right? Which means we need to talk to each other, we need to work with each other, we need to learn from each other, and find synergies on the things we are doing. And I'm really, really hoping that a few of you at least start to get involved. There's things we are trying to do, working groups and whatnot, the projects and so on. And I'm really hoping that some of you at least will feel inspired to get more involved with the community and contribute back to us. At this conference, right, we have about 200 people coming, which I'm super happy that we got there, and that was kind of the goal I hoped for. We have over 130 speakers here. Not surprisingly, if you look at the kind of distribution of speakers, right, a lot of them are from the US Department of Energy. Considering that a lot of the projects we started with came from the exascale computing project, that might not be too surprising. But we have a number of visitors who came actually over from Europe and from Asia. And a special welcome to all of you, that you made this trip over the oceans to come here and be part of this community. Obviously, we are hoping that the diversity of the community will grow over time, and I think Trott will show a bit about the institutions which lately joined, which definitely are starting to increase the diversity of our community, and we hope that will go on. One important thing, in particular for this very first conference, is we need feedback. We in particular need feedback on the conference, right? This is the first time we are doing this, and I'm just a tidbit nervous, whether or not we got, the mix of content right, whether this is engaging to you all, whether it's interesting to you all, whether it's useful to you all. And so we really need to know from you, what did we do right, what can we do better, what mix of content do you want to see in future editions? In this first version, and I'll talk about that in a second a little bit, we have in particular in the first 2 days more of an overview of who we are, what we are doing, and whatnot, right? Maybe the next time we don't need all of that, as much, right? And so, let us know. There is a survey link here. Obviously, it's maybe a bit early to fill out that survey, after me 5 minutes speaking. Unless, I was so impressive that you say, yes, this was great. I'm coming back every time to hear Christian speak. But no, maybe wait a bit, before you start filling this out. But, save that link and do it for us. So the first 2 days is the general session. So this is largely going to be here in this room. We are starting today a bit with HPSF activities and introduction. So you hear a bit from the organizations, the bodies in HPSF, the governing board, the TAC, the working groups. After that, we'll have effectively a series of lightning talks where you will hear from all the projects, right? Just get a bit of an idea of what are all the projects involved in HPSF, what we're doing, what kind of things we are working on. So you get an idea of, who might you want to talk to, right, to start collaborating. At the end of today, we have a panel that's going to be focusing more on, like, what's the kind of HPC landscape today, right? What's kind of the kind of platforms we are using, or everybody is using, which are in the world available. I know a lot of people are only focused, on a particular platform at their institution, and we want to make sure that everybody has a better idea of what the wider world looks like. Tomorrow we'll start with a bunch of talks on performance and usability. Get a bit of an overview from people who actually have been working on all these different types of platforms. Then there's another panel. We'll talk a bit about processor trends, right? Like what are the things you need to think about in the future when you write software? We'll have working group breakouts. We'll hear more about that later, and an HPSF community BOF. And then in the days after, we'll have the project days. These are the things where you have breakout sessions focused on specific projects. Where you will hear from users of the projects, from the developers of the projects, and you get a real deep dive into, what are these things doing, what are these projects doing, what were we up to, how are we getting used, how does their community look like? And, I'm very excited about that. We used to do Cocos user group meetings. I'm one of the co-leads for that. And I'm really happy that, I don't have for the Cocos user group meeting to go out and get the coffee for the break from the coffee shop anymore. So, that's one of the things I wanted to achieve with HPSF, and I think this is working out really well. Today we are mostly in the main ballroom. Restrooms are over there. We'll have beverages all day available. There is a morning and afternoon break. These breaks are important. Talk to people, get to know each other. There's a reception today at 5 p.m. that will have some heavy snacks and posters. If you have logistical questions, right, Shannon and Deb from the Linux Foundation, they have been super instrumental in making this all happen, right? Doing all the logistics work of organizing this, making sure that we actually provide the input we need to provide, to make this event happen. You don't know how many pestering, messages I got. I mean, I appreciate this pestering. I need it, but they were super, super, super helpful. So thanks both of you. And then again, that's the QR code for providing feedback. With that, HPSF conference is started, and I'm excited to see what's coming. And the first thing coming is Trott.